Midday Report, Part 6, Alex.
What's going on? This is the Midday Report. I'm Alex Shearer.
I'm Raman Ivani, and welcome back to the Midday Report. We have our 6th edition, and we got a lot to break down with you guys.
We got a lot of updates here. Okay, so first, we'll get to all the NFL news in a bit here. Right now, we got our mid-season NHL grades.
So today, Alex will be breaking down the
West and Central.
The West and Central in his podcast, and then you can come over and view mine, where we'll be talking about the East and the West.
Yes. Okay, so let's get this started. So I went in no particular order. I strictly went in memory of me remembering the teams. Okay, so we'll start out at the bottom of the barrel, Detroit. Now, I was thinking about this. Their goal, they knew they weren't winning the Cup this year. They knew they weren't even making it to the playoffs this year. But this was mainly just to develop more young players and to, just develop their team, and they signed some people.
Yeah.
And maybe when the deadline hits, they can get some people. They can give some people away and get some more prospects. But, just overall in their performance this year, last in the division, I'm going to give them an F for it. Okay, next we got our hometown Predators. Now, if you asked me this question about a week ago, I probably would have said a D. But now I'm saying probably a B minus. Because we've started to get it together, And if we can get a win streak going here, a real win streak, then who knows what we could do. It's just the thing is, if we do make it there, then, we got Tampa Bay or Carolina waiting for us. So, it's kind of uphill. Okay, so next I got Dallas. Now, Dallas just shot out of a cannon at the start of the season. They won all these games coming out. They didn't even start the season until, a week late? Was it something around there?
Yeah, with the COVID issues that they had, yeah.
Yeah. But, they've really come back down to earth, in this last month. The thing is, they've had all these games in hand, but they haven't been winning them.
Yeah.
So, if they can't do anything with that, what's the point? So, I'm going to give them a C for this one. But they can easily change that if they get their team together and maybe just get better from injuries. Okay, so next I got Chicago. Chicago, I'll give them a B minus. Their young players have done a lot for them. Start of the season, I was saying this is the season to rebuild, if anything, because no Tays, no Kirby Doc at the start of the season. I just thought, it's a shortened season. I thought this would be the year to rebuild. But
Jeremy Collinson's been doing very well with building up these young guys and grooming them for the NHL.
Yeah, so, they've completely surprised me to even stay in this playoff spot. If they hold it, that's to be determined. But, this new goalie, Lehtinen, who knows? After Crawford, he could be their goalie of the future. So, you know what? I think this is overall a good season for them. I'll give them a B minus due to what they were expected to do. Okay, so next we got the Columbus Blue Jackets. I will give them a B here. Just because of just where they're standing. They're barely on the fringe of making the playoffs here. They're just on the outside looking in. Every game with them is pretty much a coin flip if they can win or not. It's surprising. The best part of that Laine Dubois trade has been Roslovic, surprisingly. So, just the way things have gone out, and, it's a real long shot if they make it or not. I doubt they will, but we'll see about that. So, just from where they're standing, I'll give them a B. So, for Carolina did about what they were expected to do. They've been at the top of the division, near the top. I'll give them an A. Just with all their young players between Aho and Svechnikov and Teravainen and just all those defensemen they have, like Slavin and Hamilton, it's just they've done so much with the little goaltending they've had. And that coach has, put a lot of grit into their players. So I will give Carolina an A. So next we got the Florida Panthers. I will give them an A+. Because they have done so much. They were just expected to be mediocre You know, they lost Dadenoff, they lost Hoffman, they've had very little. They did very little in the offseason. They traded for Hornquist, who I didn't really think would do much, and he's one of their best goal scorers. And they've won a bunch of games out of here. You know, they just shot out of a cannon at the start of the season, and you know they've done so much. So I will give them an A+ for this. Now, last out of the Central Division is Tampa Bay. We all know how they are. You know, they've been on the top for years now. They're still on the top. They're basically like the New York Yankees of hockey. So I will give them an A for the season they've had, because they're basically gliding by. So let's see. For Toronto, for the Canadian division up in the north, we'll start out with Toronto. I'll give them an A. You know, this is about how they're always doing every season. They're always crushing the regular season. It's playoffs I want to see. But for right now, they've looked very good. You know, they just have very streaky games. Like, they lose to Ottawa a bunch, and they lose to all these other teams that they shouldn't lose to. But, you know, I think they can clean up that act. I think it's very easy for them to do that. So I will give them an A for what they've done. Edmonton, I'll give them a B+. Now, at the start of the season, they haven't been doing very well, but they've really cleaned it up. You know, McDavid and Draisaitl are arguably the two best players in the world, and they've managed to get that team up there. So I'll give them a B+. They're looking to make these playoffs, and it looks like they easily can if they keep staying on their roll. So Ottawa, I will give them a D. They did do a lot in this offseason. They brought in a bunch of guys. They have probably the best young prospect pool in the league. But, you know, they're far from contention. They got to let these young guys develop. So just from where they are, standings-wise, I will give them a D, but they've shown that their young prospect pool has a lot of potential. So hold up, let me check my recording here. Oh, yeah. So we're getting to the end here. So we'll end this video here. We'll see you later. Okay, back to the grades. So Vancouver, I'll give them a D. Because they were expected, you know, they did lose a lot in the offseason. They lost Toffoli, they lost Markstrom, they lost a lot of these guys. They thought bringing in Holtby would help fix the problem, but neither him nor Demko seems to be the answer. And it just won't end, so I will give them a D. Now, Calgary loaded up, too. They got Markstrom, and they signed all these guys. I know that GM's throwing everything under the bus to keep his job. He'll probably be fired at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I think I'll give them a C because they haven't done much to contend for playoffs, but, you know, they're just on the outside. They're ahead of Vancouver, but, you know, it's looking like a long shot for them to make it with the way they've been playing. Now, Montreal, I'll give them an A. They picked up a lot of guys. They traded for Josh Anderson. They signed Toffoli. Carey Price is being Carey Price. And just, you know, they've done a lot this season. They've surprised a good bit of people. You know, being the last one to make it in the bubble last year, they thought they didn't belong there. They proved otherwise. They proved they belong there. So I will give them an A. And finally, Winnipeg. I will give them a B.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Because, you know, they've been very average in their season.
Yeah.
You know, they've done a lot, but they've traded for Dubois. They finally got their second-line center to play on that second line, and they've done a good bit. You know, they've been up against the salary cap, but they've managed to do a lot in their sense. And, you know, I think they honestly could do something in the playoffs. You know, ever since they had that great year in 2017, 2018, it's kind of been downhill from there. Hopefully they can break that streak.
And we had to experience that for those playoffs.
That was painful.
Seeing Pekka go out, 2 goals, put use in.
Oh, I was at that game. That sucked.
You were at that game 7?
Not the game 7. I was at the game 5 that he was pulled.
Oh, yeah. It was a very tough time for Preds fans.
Yeah. So those are my grades.
Pretty fair.
Yeah. So what we're moving on to next? NFL free agency?
We have a lot to unpack here.
A lot has happened. You know, there's still a good bit out there, but I think the biggest names have been taken off the market.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what did we have?
Let's start off with our hometown team, the Titans.
Yeah.
First off, we lose Corey Davis to the Jets.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I can live with that.
Back. Hold on, let me get my old list here that we made.
And then we went and picked up Bud Dupree for a questionable.
I think we paid a little too much.
It was a good signing.
It was needed,
but I think the contract was a little questionable.
Yeah. What else? We got Josh Reynolds to help replace him.
I don't know how much of a.
Okay, keep in mind the year that the Rams went to that Super Bowl, when Cooper Kupp went down, Reynolds stepped into his place, and he did some good things. I think it was about like 600 yards, something like that.
Yeah.
He got the same amount of touchdowns as Davis in his good year.
Yeah.
So I think he can do something if he's put into a bigger role. And we offered him what, $2 million for 1 year?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a steal. I think it was because he wanted to play a big role here. I think more than likely the Rams offered him more money. But it was behind Woods and Cooper Kupp, and he wasn't like a very big option there.
Yeah.
So I think he wanted a larger role.
Is it just me, or does he look like a bigger version of Khalif Raymond?
He does.
Like, I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
And it just made me think, like, I hope this guy does not play like Khalif Raymond.
Well, maybe he'll take the good plays that Raymond did make. Maybe he'll be more consistent.
Yeah. And maybe not fall down in the middle of a wild card game.
Don't even remind me, bro. Okay, so I got the list that we made here of the top free agents. So Dak signed back in Dallas, as we figured.
Yeah.
So Godwin, they franchise tagged him. I think that was a good move on their part. You know, I don't know if he planned on leaving, but, you know, they got it.
Yeah, and who was the next name on the list?
Robinson.
Yeah, I think we figured. Actually, no, that was a pretty shocking one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that helps either side.
No, I mean he's wasting his prime years.
This is why players don't like franchise tags.
Yeah. It's just I feel so bad for the guy. Like he chooses to go here.
Yeah. You know, and his quarterback situation is not going to be good next year.
We got Andy Dalton.
The red rifle. That's not going to work out too well.
It's a questionable sign.
Maybe he'll surprise us. I don't know. I hope he does.
I miss the days of Andy Dalton in a Bengals uniform.
In Cincinnati? Oh my God.
It felt so weird.
He doesn't look right in another uniform.
Yeah, it just didn't look right in that the orange hair.
And with the cowboy
it
uniform.
just did not.
At least he went back to another orange team.
I guess
that
so.
Orange hair. Okay, so number 4, we got Galladay.
Yeah.
Galladay's very striking.
Yeah.
You know, just with all that stuff. You know, where'd he go again?
Galladay?
Yeah.
To the Giants.
Yeah, didn't he sign there for like way too... I think he signed there strictly for the money.
Oh, definitely.
Like we predicted.
But I mean, they're a young team. Saquon's about to turn, 25?
Well, what, didn't they cut Golden Tate?
Yeah.
So what, you're going to have Galladay on one side, you're going to have
Slayton.
Shepard on one side. What are you going to do with Slayton? Who's going to go to the slot?
I'd probably put Slayton in the slot. Or Shepard.
One of those two.
I think Shepard would be better on the slot than...
Yeah. So move then.
Yeah.
And then you got Trent Williams.
I think
my God.
that
I did not think he would get that kind of contract.
No, not at all.
6 years? Like, I think it'll work out pretty well in the first maybe 3 or 4, but what are you going to do? He's 32. He'll be 33 next season.
It's just... I mean,
as you said, 38 when
as you said in the last podcast, you said that these offensive linemen last a while. I think he'll last a while, but it just strikes me how much people are willing to pay these guys.
Yeah, they're ready to protect. Even if it is Garoppolo, I don't even think it will be. Whoever their quarterback is, they'll be well protected.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 6, we got Justin Simmons. So he was franchise tagged again.
Yeah.
And then he got a long-term extension.
Yeah.
So, I don't know why they went for the franchise tag and then went for a long-term extension. I don't know why they did that, but they got a deal done, which is good for him and good for the organization.
Benefits both parties.
And Denver maintained the best safety in football.
And that will do it for us in part 5 of Alex. Stay tuned for part 5 of my podcast coming soon.